What's going on, traders? I'm Antoine Farrell back with another trading video with Digital Goats Academy. It is Tuesday, so you already know today is our market forecast, where we pretty much outline our predictions in the market. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into the charts. Now, I do this at 5 p.m. Some of you may not know I do this at 5 p.m. Eastern time because I'm in America and on the East Coast. So I do this when basically the market is frozen. I think, as we move forward, like in the year, we'll probably do some and go back to like when the market is live. I did a lot of that last year, but I kind of want the market to play out between the open of Sunday, Monday, and then kind of close on Tuesday so we can kind of find some type of clarity and confluence in the market so we can make sense of what's going on, right? But if you're tuning into this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We greatly appreciate it. It definitely helps us grow within the algorithm. But like I said before, let's go ahead and get into it. This is US 30. So my traders, you already know I look at indices. So right now, I believe that US 30 has presented like its support structure today. So if we just look at what happened yesterday, I mean, what happened between, well, yeah, we can kind of talk about like what happened yesterday, Sunday. So let's go ahead and get all that chaos that's out. So what we're looking at right now is the market close of today's daily candle, right? So today's daily candle closed as a bear. I think this is called is it called a hanging man? I think this candlestick pattern is called a hanging man, but I can't remember. Either way, this was the move that the market made for the entire day, where it pretty much tested 100%, if not more, of yesterday's bullish candle. So yesterday was a bullish candle, which it broke above the high of like the previous day. So Friday, Thursday, and Wednesday broke above that. And what this looks like is that this was the pullback that price needed in order to bring the market back up. That's what I'm expecting. But we still need to wait for like the market to reopen and show us a little bit more data. But this is what we've been talking about. We've been talking about that price is most likely creating support down here in this area because the one thing we pointed out is that what we pointed out that the previous high from last year, price basically, well, it did. It tested the previous high, and that should have been basically the last swing low that we needed to confirm that we were still in a bull trend from last year's bull movement, right? So remember we talked about, I think last week, or what's that last week? Yeah, last week we talked about that morning star pattern was made. So morning star patterns, you definitely want to see it at the end of a trend. This is definitely sticking to the idea or the concept of a morning star pattern. We see right here, we have that bearish push down. Then we have doji right here. Then you have your bullish. Whether it was like a engulfing or not, it just needs to be a bullish candle, moderate or strong. In this case, it's strong, especially we're on the daily time frame, so that holds a lot of significance compared to being on smaller time frames. We have a pullback right here. If you look at that, this is going to bring up my markup, so I can't really do nothing about that. But I like busting out my handy dandy fib. They should do like a cartoon for like a children's cartoon about trading, yo. You know what? I might get on that. But anyway. This was a 38.2% pullback. And again, I said that we needed at least like 50% of this. Hold on. Yeah, either way, that's 38%. But I was capturing this candle. So of this candle, price came within the 382, which is 38.2%. Pushed up. We have a bull candle right here. And now what it looks like is that prices basically going to continue up from this area. So, like I said, with the morning star pattern, we needed price to pretty much test this candle right here, and you see we have a pullback to test this wick, which makes sense. And then price tested this daily candle as far as like 100% pullback, and it looks like we're taking off. So when we break it down even further, we can see that this is where we came from last week, right? This is where we came from last week. This was price, not last week. What's this last week? Yeah, this is where we came from last Sunday. Big move. Remember, we discussed this. We talked about this pattern, consolidation pattern, where price is moving upward. That normally indicates, especially when you look at indices, that there's bullish momentum. We need a pullback back into the pattern or the high of the pattern. You can see that was the pullback here. And then price basically created support in order to test this previous high that we broke out of. And then we have basically price. What it did today was test the area of Sunday. I wouldn't say I planned for that, but I saw that as a possibility because in the past, I look at it through like US 30 more because sometimes S&P and NASDAQ have done something different. In the past, US 30 has like broken out of Sunday and then come back to Sunday in order to create support. Good thing we already have like price pushing us up versus like this was the low because price could have obviously pushed down a lot lower. Not to mention I have my 945 candle that I like to annotate, but I'm not even going to mention that. Don't want to confuse anybody. But all we need to focus on is that price, basically this pullback right here, price broke out of support in this area and actually tested this candle twice in order to what? In order to create some form of structure, which would be support. And to me, this is the move that's going to carry us up. You know what I'm saying? This was the gap from Sunday. And if you look at NASDAQ and S&P, that was one thing that I talked about to my community that I believe that after Trump talks, now the market did end up getting bullish at first before it actually started pulling back down. But I did mention that yesterday. What was that yesterday? Yeah, after he spoke, that the market should respond in a way where it tries to like target this gap right here, which it did today, a whole day after, and then push up. The most important thing is that we saw that price pushed up from this area. So for me, one, this is the area of support for the NASDAQ. We're testing the area that we broke out of Sunday in order to what? To validate, in order to validate, in order to, no, excuse me, in order to fill this gap. So in order to fill this gap, which those are things that we want to see, we're going through basically our confluence checklist, and then price got bullish. Now I was surprised how price got bullish around like 3 o'clock, specifically for US 30. And like I said, with S&P, same thing. S&P created support down here. This was basically our gap. Well, this was Sunday's gap as well. Something I mentioned. I thought we were going to test the high of it, but price wanted to create support. And again, turn it to a line chart so you understand like what you're looking at when it comes to structure. You see, this is the structure that the market is producing. We have our support, at least on the hour time frame. I don't know what it looks like on the 4 hour. But just looking at this, if I'm looking at it in line chart form, because this is S&P now, one thing we already said is that look at this structure anyway. We need price to come back into what? The low. If price was continuously going to sell off, right? We need price to come back to the low or test somewhere within the body of this pattern. We haven't done that yet. So until we get up here, we can't really look for sales. You know what I'm saying? Just based off the pattern. And yes, this is where I promote like trying to be headstrong with identifying like patterns in the market. The market is nothing but patterns. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, do what you will, but when you start seeing these type of moves and becomes more common and evident, you know what I'm saying? Like to me, this is the easiest way to kind of see the market because that's all it is patterns. Like anywhere, you know what I'm saying? And you're just gathering the information. Like once we had this breakout here, we knew, okay, even in this scenario, like we knew that price was gonna at least buy up didn't know that it was gonna like crash out through here. But either way, it's still that still was an opportunity to make a move. But what I'm promoting is that pay attention to the patterns, like the and I've said this before, like the flow of the market. You know what I'm saying? The market has like a I don't want to sound spiritual, but like has like a synergy to it. When you train your eye to see whatever currency pair you're looking at. You know what I'm saying? It's not just gonna jump at you, but like when you spend time with it, it has like a synergy and it has like a flow that your eye becomes like accustomed to, and you're like, oh man, I can see. So it's like even though you can't guarantee, you feel way more confident in being like, nah, man, I think that even though it may not bounce off of my entry like a sniper, that area is probably where price is buying up from. And that's why I like leaving my annotations, like, because I mean, my markups, because like a lot of times price is responding and making a mistake. I can still take advantage of the market when I take a loss. You know what I'm saying? There's still always a learning lesson to put you in the right, well, put you back in profit. Like, so I don't know why I veered off, like, with giving like a learning lesson. But either way, well, I guess it pertains to what I was discussing specifically with S&P because until we get up here, I'm not looking at S&P to sell off. I know the market is like showing us signs that it wants to sell off, but that's not what's going on right now. One, there's been too much positive talk. Um, there's been too much positive talk about I mean, too much positive influences that have happened within the market, such as the launch, the Artemis 2 program launch for from NASA. So that space shuttle that launched, that was definitely something big. Like I knew that was going to have like a positive effect in the market. It was something else. You can kind of this might be opinionated more so than fact, but I think the war is probably going to come like to a closure. And I think us sending troops kind of just showed like, um, I think it was a positive act for the market. You know what I'm saying? I look at that like the American people saw it as like something positive and it trickled into the market. I may be like overshooting or like witch hunting, but what I'm getting at is like there's been a lot of positive things to be transferred into the market as far as like us going on a bull run or us rallying because anytime we have like positive news, especially when it pertains to like your country's stock or your country's currency, obviously that's going to influence it in a positive way, which means making it go up. So that's why I just wanted to discuss that because like until we get up here, like I can't look for sales. Just how the market's been moving with this whole entire area, like to me, the structure is sound, and this just looks like consolidation after price created support right here, broke out of this area. This is the pullback, probably has like a wick down here, but we care about what it looks like on the line chart because that structure. And over here is that information that was created between Sunday and today. And this is where the market is at currently. So we're up from this position, which this was one of our buy zones anyway. So I expect us to come up here and then pull back slightly and then probably start continuing to trend up. We'll figure it out from there, but I definitely think that we're bullish when it comes to S&P, definitely NASDAQ, US 30. You can see like on the line chart, they kind of NASDAQ and S&P look a lot alike on the line chart and on their candlestick movement. Last year, US 30 and S&P were moving alike. So I don't know if that's something because like I really just started getting like hip to indices last year. Like I messed with them in 2024, but I was getting my ass whooped. So I don't count that as like I was learning. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that's like normal, you know what I'm saying, for a price to kind of influence each other's behavior, but also shift that in a whole nother year. Because like I said, last year was S&P and US 30. This year it's S&P and NASDAQ that are like damn near identical. Even though we know when it's time to enter, they're not like S&P, NASDAQ can go opposite than S&P because its market cycle is still producing data. You know what I'm saying? You know this as a trader. But if you don't, You're welcome. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, look where NASDAQ like closed at too. We closed up. We didn't break above the high that was created this week, but we're still up here. So even though that we're at resistance, if it gaps up or market like pushes down and then like to like test one of these areas and then break through, we already know what's going on, that basically this is the consolidation move or this is the support that prices will factor this as support. I got consolidation down here, but this looks like a W pattern, so we'll go ahead and say that this is the support that we need to break out of this area. The only downside is that price close where if the market was open, we would have probably saw a price broke through that. But this is the importance of being able to spot like the trend on the smaller time frame and when it hasn't actually moved already. That's what I definitely try to do. Just based off of this pattern, I'm looking at a continuation to buy up. I'm glad that we got bullish at pretty much the last 2 hours. So you can see that today, it looks like, oh, all you had to do, like, it's so crazy how like the market does this, and then after it closes these candles, like it doesn't like when you look at it, you'll be like, oh man, all I had to do was, but that's not what was going on today. Today, people probably got slaughtered. Traders probably got slaughtered. So this was our move from yesterday. So like this has been common where price tapers off after the close of the market. It didn't do it. Did it do it yesterday? Yeah, basically, that's again, identify the pattern. The market's been selling off like as it's been buying up, it's been selling off at the close. So when 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern time hits, the market will start selling off. So it did that yesterday, and it's basically been buying back up towards like London. But today, because we were low and we were going into New York, we know New York is going to do what? New York, if we're buying up, opening bell should bring the market down because it's trying to witch hunt for a form of support. It did that, and then by the time, no, this was the move. Yeah, this was the move, and as you can see, like the market just started acting chaotic, and then it finally brought itself down to this lowest point, which is the high of the area of the gap that was made on Sunday. So you see, this is the structure that was made on Sunday as price got bought up. I mean, this price was, yeah, its price bought up around like 8 o'clock. And this is the high. It's not like equal to it. You might as well just say like it tested the high of this, but still, it doesn't matter. This is support. So this is what traders had to deal with and even if you were buying, like it went up, then it went down, you know what I'm saying? Like it was creating this structure, but it definitely did not feel like this. Then finally we had a push up. That was the sign we needed. And then the market got pushed down again in order to test what? Consolidation right here. Or you could just say the previous high. The previous high of this zone. Look, I'm not gonna change that color because it really doesn't matter. And then at 250 is what it says. Let's see on the dot where we got bullish at. No, it was 3 o'clock, like I said, 1510. So 310 is when we got bullish for US 30. Probably the same thing with like NASDAQ and 1520. No, 1510. Yeah. Got bullish got bullish around the same time. So this was the last move that we needed, and it happened like an hour and a half before the market is about to close. That was telling us that yes, the trend is still solid, and that buyers are in the market. And so more than likely, I don't know if we'll have the same thing, but expect what we just saw. The market will probably taper off somewhat, find some high or some form of structure to go to, and then buy back up. Make sense? But that's all I got, traders. I'm definitely excited because it's Q2, and we've been seeing the responses that we wanted the market to produce going into Q2. So this is everything that we've been talking about. So we just gotta we just got to be patient, like execute your position, like use proper risk management. Because again, with Trump still talking and this war still going on, obviously there's going to be a lot of volatility in the market. You can't like get rid of that. So it's like where you have opportunity to take money, you definitely better click the close button. You know what I'm saying? Because one, you're building the equity for those of you that are like building accounts. You know what I'm saying? Like you're building the equity. So that way, if, Trump says something outlandish or the market does tank out of nowhere or shoot up whatever direction you're in, you can kind of, as long as you're in the right direction, you can kind of withstand, the pullback where everybody else is getting knocked out. Like today, a lot of people got knocked out. Just how the market like moved, I know for a fact a lot of people got knocked out because those were traders still entering. I mean, hell, that could have been me today. Surprised it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Like that definitely could have been me. Like I definitely was in profit, but didn't wait for the 9:30, which like I definitely stressed that because it puts you in better position for an entry, just waiting to see what it does immediately and then like having like an entry point from there. So if you caught this entry, like damn, I mean this entry, damn near sniper in my opinion, but I think most of us were a little bit higher and just had to wait for the market to pretty much settle itself. But that's all I got, traders. Yeah, I think this is the move for the week. Like I said last week, I was talking buys. We just know that the market's going to create its structure. So don't be fooled by the pressure where the market is trying to like push down unless it's breaking like zones or levels that you know it shouldn't be breaking in order to keep up the uptrend. But I'll catch you on the next video with Digital Goats Academy. That'll be for YouTube. That'll be Thursday for my group. Obviously, I'll see y'all tomorrow. I hope everybody has a successful week in this market, especially with it being the second week in Q2. So I expect to see a lot more traders producing a lot more money. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely going to be doing that. But I'm Antoine Foro as always. I will see y'all later. Have a great week. Signing off. Peace.